I see you have an appetite for destruction.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Team Liquid Legacy Star League Championship. It is finally time, and I have returned. I am Sale, and with me is LRM Catspaw. What's up, dude?
Hello, everyone. That will be me, and I am with Sale. Well, that's quite a thing. Let's get this started when Sale says so.
All right, sweet. So, this is, of course, the long-awaited championship. We had, I believe, 20 Team Liquid Legacy Cups in the second half of last year, which have been leading up to this main event with a $2,000 prize pool, graciously provided by Russ Brain. So thank you very much to him. And, of course, all organized by Team Liquid staff, including Tupacalypse, Big Fan, and many other people behind the scenes. So big thanks to all of them as well. Now, for anyone who's unaware, the format is thus. There are going to be some preliminaries right now, which is basically everyone signing up, playing one series against like one random opponent, and then we start matching people based on score each week after that. So there's no like bracket per se just yet until the round of 32, but we're basically just going to have people with different scores as the weeks go on, and we'll show you how those progress. So for our very first match of the day, we are going to have Zaraki versus Drum. This is what the replay tells me. I don't know who Drum is, but there you go. You know anything about this guy?
I have seen him before, but to tell the truth, I don't want to like try to get it wrong. I know he's not a bad player because I've seen him play a few. I think it was National Wars, maybe. I might get it wrong, but he was definitely good. So, I definitely look forward to it.
Well, do you know what country he was playing for?
No. Sorry. I really, you put me on the spot there, but honestly, I really don't remember. Damn it. I know I've seen him before, just can't recall it.
Hey man, I have a notoriously bad memory, so like I can't even keep my Korean professional players straight, so it's fine. We'll just talk about StarCraft. That's something we hopefully know about.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So yeah, without further ado, let us go into game number 1 on Fighting Spirit, the best map, regardless of what anyone tells you. Here we go.
All right. So the countdown is going down, and we're about to start that.
All right, TLS Championship, black screen. No, just kidding. So at the top left position as the yellow Protoss, we have IGTB Drum, and at the bottom right as the white Zerg, we have SAS Zaraki.
Okay, so I'm kind of interesting what Zaraki is going to do, because I have seen him in the past doing a lot of interesting builds. He was one of the players who actually managed to beat Gem 5 and his infamous 2-gate after expansion with basically just bunkering down. So it was a very good answer to that. Now, I wonder if he's going to be ready for what Drum brings to him.
This is true. I mean, he is the mysterious player that we don't know about, but it looks like he's going for the standard wall here. Apparently, we got some lag going on. I believe lag generally favors Protoss. It's good. It's a good start. Good start for Drum.
Well, I guess you're right, but that's only true if Zaraki goes for Mutas. Because if it's something like Lurkers or maybe Hydra Bust, that might be more tricky for Drum.
It's true. What race do you play, by the way?
I usually play Protoss, but I've never been like a very active player. I only played when my team needed me to play, so I actually play all 3 races. And most of my friends tell me that my Terran is about like 3 times better than my Protoss. I just don't like it.
Okay. But what you're saying is you're the manly race, you know, you've picked the right race. So, gonna keep that Protoss bias going on, because for some reason, like, every caster's Protoss. Like, you're just continuing the trend, man.
Well, I guess that has to do something with the fact that Protoss players like to do things like, for example, DT drops, Reaver drops, and they give a lot of good moments where you're wondering if it's gonna work or not.
True, true. By the way, I'm a little bit confused by this probe. It went to the 6 o'clock. Did it actually see this Overlord? I wasn't paying attention. I guess it must have seen it because it went down.
No.
Huh?
Look at the. I think it went first to the 9 o'clock and then it went to the 6 o'clock.
Oh, you're right. But the thing is, if he didn't, I don't know. I would have thought if he didn't see the Overlord at the 6, he would have just gone straight to the top right, maybe. But he went to check the bottom right, which is actually good because that's where his opponent is.
I think it's about because of the distance from the 9 o'clock to the, let's say, 3 o'clock, right? If you want to find the Overlord at 3 o'clock, it's a little bit farther. So you go to the 6 o'clock, and if you don't find the Overlord there, then you can kind of assume that it is at the top right location.
Oh, this probe! You're absolutely right, and I'm just like clinching because this probe has been on the verge of death like twice. The drones just couldn't get the last spit on him. And he's actually going to survive somehow, which is pretty amazing. Zaraki, of course, still does not know where his opponent has spawned, but that's alright, because he's going Forge Nexus Cannon here. All good stuff. He has to be a little bit careful. This is a pretty wide gap on the top, pretty easy to run by if Zaraki does choose to do that, so just got to be aware of that.
Yes, although the Zergling that is following the probe, I think that it kind of shows that there's not too many Zerglings, because usually if you make 6, they kind of try to pop at the same time so you can get the kill on the first cannon. But because Drum didn't see that, I think he assumes that it's going to be a Link Light at the beginning.
Yeah, he is building another pylon here already, so just gonna help. He actually, oh, that's interesting. Oh, he's built a second gateway. I was confused. I was like, why is there a gateway like on top of the Nexus? There's actually 2 gateways here already. So I mean, you were already talking about Gem 5's 2 gateway build, and it looks like we're already seeing that here. I don't know. Is this the same though? Is this different?
No, it's not the same because Gem actually starts his first Zealot very early, and then he makes the second Zealot when the gateway is finished, which would be right about now. The thing is, the difference between what Zaraki did against Gem is that he understood that Gem goes for this, so he knew that it would be something quite common for Gem to do. Unfortunately, when other players did it against Zaraki, he had a lot of trouble against it. So I'm not sure he's going to be ready for it.
Alright, well, he has no idea about this, but he does have the Overlord at the front. He might... the thing is, though, I was going to say, if he kept it close enough to see the gas, he might be able to tell from the gas timing that something was going on, because the gas isn't being taken here at the natural. But he's instead deciding to move it over to the main. Now, he might actually barely get vision of the second one, but actually that's not necessary, because he sees 3 Zealots. That's too fast to be from 1 gateway. So seeing those 3 Zealots, he should know exactly what's going on right now.
The thing is, I think he's reacting by making... I don't see any Sunkens, so I believe that this is going to be defended mostly by Zerglings, but the difference between what Gem used to do in Drum is that Gem used to send 1 Zealot to the main or natural, and then the other 2 to the 3rd expansion. Because of keeping all the Zealots alive, it's a lot easier on the multitasking for Zaraki.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, this pro guy, it looks like he's going to die at the bottom left. The first 2 Zealots are going in the same direction, but the reinforcement Zealots looks like both gateways have been rallied to that 3rd base. So there are going to be 2 fronts here in just a second, and let's see how good the reaction is. Looks like actually all the Zerglings from the 3rd were pulled back to the natural, so the natural actually is going to be defended extremely easily, but now this 3rd base is completely undefended, so the drones are going to have to run away here.
Yeah, but that being said, though, speed is finished for the Zerglings, so Zaraki does have a way to actually keep slowing down this kind of push. And bear in mind that gas has been taken for the Protoss, and he's going for the Corsairs, and as well as the fact that Zaraki sees that right now, so he knows where the money is going.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So it looks like just a bit of early pressure, but nothing too serious. I definitely thought he would have committed more to that. It doesn't feel to me that this necessarily helped him more than just pressuring off 1 gateway wood and just going for the normal Corsair, fast Corsair.
So. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, like if he was going to do this, I think he should have at least built 2, maybe 4 more Zealots, just to really, really keep on that pressure, but I don't know, it's kind of wonky.
I think that the difference was that when Gem 5 used to do this, he was a lot more aggressive early on. He would send the first Zealot right away, and because of that little bit of an extra time, I think that actually slowed down Drum too much in trying to be aggressive.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And it looks like Zaraki's going to respond by going for some Muta, although it looks like doesn't quite have enough money to make a lot. I can count only 4 in eggs right now, which is not that scary. And we're actually going to have another attack here at the third base. 3 Zealots and a Dragoon. They're also going to see the Muta, so the Muta tech is revealed, and this Sunken is going to do nothing against these units. Looks like just focusing down the Dragoon. That's actually very, very smart. Zealots have some damage reduction against Sunken Colony due to damage type, so it's actually better to focus fire the Dragoon with your Sunken if you can. And then obviously the Mutas will be able to clean up the Zealots, but there's not that many yet, and they are going to be able to get some drone kills here. Oh, looks like actually only 1 drone kill so far. And a bit of scattered attention from the Zealots means not that much damage besides the Sunken.
Yeah, although the drone production has actually been slowed down quite significantly, so I believe that the main problem for Zaraki is if he doesn't actually put pressure with these mutas good enough to make the macro from drum slow down, he will not come back into it, because there are 2 Sunkens in the third, 2 Sunkens in the natural. That's a decent investment if you look at the fact that he still not have his 5th hatchery.
Yeah. And the problem is, though, that there's 2 cannons already finished in the natural, and the first 2 Corsairs are out as well. So I don't think Zaraki can do that much damage. Also, he didn't like spam a whole bunch of mutas. He actually made another round of drones in between. So he's only got I'd say like 7 mutas-ish, 7 or 8 mutas.
Yeah, 7 mutas.
All right, looks like he's going into the natural though. Oh, couple of free hits. Not the best control there, losing a free Scourge.
I mean, I do think that Zaraki is going to try to troll it to the late game, because we already see that he's trying to look for other bases. He's trying to make sure that maybe there is nothing going on the map. So I do think he's going for the later game.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Getting those Hydra upgrades, getting the additional hatcheries. I guess this Muta Force is just going to keep some pressure on the Protoss while he potentially takes the bottom left expansion. I would actually really like it if he does take this 4th base, maybe now-ish, because he already invested, as you said earlier, in these extra Sunkens, which is a pretty big investment early on, so he might as well get something out of that and play a bit more of a Turtley style Zerg, which, is pretty effective on Fighting Spirit. Wow, and we have an Archon more from the first 2 Templar.
Ooh, that's weird.
Yeah, that's very aggressive, I think. Means he's going to move out pretty quickly, presumably.
Whoa, wait a second. If actually... Oh, now Zaraki sees the extra gateway explosion. So if Zaraki can identify that this is going to be this kind of push, if he goes for lurkers right now, he might actually get enough time to get a good defense, because there is no, I think, Robo, right?
Oh my god. I have not seen a Robo yet, and also a lot of those Scourge connected with the Corsairs, but it looks like with the help of the Archon, I'm going to push these mutas out. Actually, it looks like this Archon might even have been necessary. If this wasn't here, I think Zaraki might have even been able to, force the probes off mining in the main.
Yeah, true, definitely.
It's pretty surprising, and it's also really bad for him to lose all his Corsairs, because he's going for +1, so he's definitely investing in the air tech.
Yeah, that hurts a lot.
Oh, it looks like some Zealot's going to get caught in the middle of the map. Not to worry, they do have speed.
Oh, that one Zerg that was like at the exit of Drum's base, saw the Archon moving out, so Zaraki knows that he has to look for the mutas, not to take any shots from the Archon.
Yep.
Smart moves.
Definitely. In the meantime, though, we do have the drone going to the bottom left, so it looks like even though Zaraki saw the Archon moving out, he's not overly worried. Well, there we go. That's because he's got a lot of Hydras at his natural right now, and he's got a lot of Sunkens at the third, so he is pretty well turtled up. Now the question is, what is Drum's response? Drum's response is just to immediately take a third. He's actually taken this Nexus before the 4th hatchery starts. That's actually very, very important. Very often you'll see the Zerg's 4th hatch be well on its way before the Protoss takes this base, but in this case I'd say Drum actually is in a pretty good position. Economically, at least.
I don't know, though, because Storm is halfway done, but how many High Templars? It's just basically like 4 High Templars. That's good enough as long as the Corsair count is high and you don't get the High Templar sniped. But
yeah,
so far, as you mentioned before, some of these Corsairs that died before and they have to be replenished, that's going to cut into the gas of Drum.
Yeah, he has like 4 left, I think, and with +1 weapons and the support of the Archon, that might just be enough. Actually, that's not even 4, is it? I'm not even sure. But
that's actually 5 right now.
Oh, it's 5. Okay, perfect. Well, in that case, I think he'll be okay as long as Zaraki doesn't pull off some insane micro moves. And he keeps the Templars with everything. Obviously, as you can see, that's happening now. The Templars lag behind really far. So if you just move your army across the map, it's actually not that difficult for the Zerg to run in. But Zaraki not paying attention, taking a lot of free shots on the mutas. Oh my god!
Not even 1.
Wow. The Scourge were just picked off way in a completely different area than the Muta. I don't know what Zaraki was looking at, but completely lost control of his Air Force there, and that's quite a big investment too. His Lurker Tech is also only halfway done, so not the best position, but it looks like he might go for a counterattack with his Hydras.
Ooh, that's gonna be scary because he's going without scouting anything. If he doesn't send one unit forward before to see what's going on there, he's gonna lose a lot of units, and he probably won't do that much damage. So that's risky.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it looks like we're gonna have a big attack here in the third base. That's a lot of Sunkens in the back. A lot of Overlords, though, potentially gonna fall. No Overlord speed just yet, but the Zealot's getting a little bit stuck on the wall, and there are Hydras in the back. I don't think the ground attack is gonna do anything, but he's gonna majorly supply block Zaraki, and he's gonna get a nice storm on the drones. Nice storm on the Hydras as well.
And at the same time, he defended from the attack at his third. So Drum actually stormed and killed like about 8 to 10 Hydras there.
Wow, really, really nice. Two Zealots still running around here in the backlines. Look at Zaraki's supply, 54 of 46, completely supply blocked, and he's at half the supply of the Protoss right now, so really nice exchange there for Drum.
Yeah, and usually when this happens, if you do have a good drone count at every single base, that's okay-ish. It's bad, but it's still doable. But in this situation, because of the amount of drones that died through those few storms, that's actually going to be, I think he has a lower economy than Drum at this point by a quite wide margin.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like the Corsair's still running around. Gonna try and grab one more. Not worth it, though. He does trade it for a Corsair. But no, I completely agree. And I think I don't know what is Zaraki gonna do about this. He's still just on Hydras. He hasn't even. Oh no, there we go. A few Lurkers finally morphing.
Yeah.
In the natural, but that, as you say, without that economy, he can't really afford it. But whoa, Corsairs flying through Hydras.
Oh, okay. So Corsairs are pretty much done at this point.
Yep.
And First Observer is out, so Drum does have detection, although detection in itself is going to do very well until Hive Tech is finished. Now, we don't see Hive started right now because the amount of Dragoons that is out is going to be only effective until Swarm comes out. Once Swarm is finished, those Dragoons are pretty much the investment that you made, but you didn't use efficiently.
Yeah.
So, Hive is started. Okay. Will it be enough? Will it be soon enough to defend from the inevitable push that actually Drum is going to do?
Well, it looks like Zaraki's going to try and buy time by being aggressive here. At least, even if he can't fight the Protoss army head-on, I mean, he only has 3 Lurkers, so I don't think he really could if Drum storms correctly. He can at least buy himself some time here, set up, it's not really a proper contain, but he's just goofing around here at the front, scaring the Protoss a little bit. But actually, Drum's not even scared. He's just going forward here. Looks like a nice High Templar snipe. There are a lot more in the back lines, so 6 more Templar, and a good initial storm here. Zaraki pulling his Hydras back, trying to minimize the damage, but you can just see the numbers difference here in the armies. It doesn't even matter how many Hydras the storms hits, really. It's just powering through. So that half contain is pretty easily broken.
Oh yeah, although I would say that I actually like that move from Zaraki, because even though he had like very little chance to contain, what he did was slow down again the attack from Drum. So even though because at this point Hydras and a few Sunkens are not going to do too much. Either you have 1,000 Lurkers or you have Swarm.
Yeah.
So I think he's trying just to scare the Drum a little bit to get enough time to get his Swarm ready. And even though that costed a lot, I actually think it's a desperate move, but a good move.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, though, that Drum, I gotta say, is also making the correct move here, and he's not just being too passive. He's actually moving out on the map with his army. I actually disagree with this, though. I thought he was moving towards the bottom left, but he's actually now going to secure this expansion. I think, well, I mean, it's fair enough. If he had committed his whole army to attack, he would have probably lost that opportunity to a counterattack. But I don't know if that's the best use of such a huge army supply. I mean, he's got like, an 80 supply advantage right now. By the way, he's also got 2 unrallied gateways in his main, which kind of are bugging me. But, it is what it is.
I do think that the problem is that probably Drum thinks that Zaraki has a lot more than he has. Because if you look at the fact that he's expanding where his army is, Drum is actually trying to cover the entire top area of the map with his army moving from one area to another. So I think Drum is not confident to actually attack, which is probably going to be a big problem for him if Zaraki does get to that high tech.
Yeah, that's actually completely correct, I think. Yeah, he actually doesn't realize how far ahead he is. That's why he's playing like that. He's playing like they're even, or if he might even be, as if he's slightly behind even. And the Defiler Mound is, over halfway done. And once those Defilos come out, it's going to be really annoying for him. He does have quite a few Dragoons. Hopefully, we'll start transitioning into the late game with, you know, more Archons and maybe some Reavers thrown in there. But he's going to go engage now. He's moving forward. He got the cannons up at his 4th base, so he's going forward. But I don't know if it's in time now. Let's see whether he's able to break through here.
I think he will, because there is still no swarm, so this actually attack is coming pre-swarm. It's pretty much the perfect timing, because he did amass a huge amount of units. Oh, but these lurkers are very well positioned, though.
Oh god, he's just taking massive lurker damage. Finally gonna knock some down with storms. But they clear away a lot of the supporting zealots, but still 165.
Look at the natural. It's coming from the natural. He's gonna get flanked.
Oh god, that's a lot of lurkers, but he does have a lot of Dragoons though. It's lurkers on Dragoons. The Dragoons won't do that badly, but I don't know if he has enough units to actually push all the way through, but the lurkers are just AFK in the storm. Oh my god.
That's still not bad for Zaraki, I think, because that army costed a lot of gas.
And it looks like the Templars are now out of energy. There was the last storm on the lurkers, at least going to give him an avenue for retreat, but he's got only a handful of Dragoons left, and Dragoons by themselves are not that effective against Zerg. You need the supporting splash damage, the Zealots, the Archons, the Templars, to really make them shine. So he's very, very smartly backing off, and wow, that was really, really close.
But that was also extremely expensive for Drum. I think the second that you realize that you cannot efficiently break a position, you just go to the other base.
True.
You don't stay in the same base, because you're going to lose too many gas units. It's not about the Zealots, it's about everything else.
But the good thing for him, at least, is he does have this 4th base quite secure. You know, might want to do... Oh, he's actually making DTs there. That's perfect. I was going to say, just a couple of units there to bolster it. High Templar or Dark Templar, just to disrupt any kind of swarm shenanigans. And yeah, so he'll have basically even bases with the Zerg, which is obviously really good for the Protoss.
That's definitely true. The only problem that I see for Drum is that he's still staying on Dragoon. Basically, he's making other units, but most of his units are Dragoons. And that's going to hurt him a lot. When Swarm comes out, those Dragoons are going to be quite inefficient, and at the same time, even though if you have the same amount of bases, Zerglings are very cheap.
Yeah.
And with Swarm, they are the hard counter, basically, to Dragoons, so... I don't know.
That's a really good observation. Actually, I didn't realize he was still doing that. Once you get to this late game point, I mean, the thing is, you know, to be fair though, he is actually not that high on money, because he actually mined out his main and his natural, so even though it looks like 4 bases, it's not that much more income than Zaraki, because he's basically only mining on 2, and he's now taking
and
another
2
base.
Templars and the natural of the Protoss are actually taken down with just a few Zerglings, so Zaraki is still trying to make something done with the amount of units that he has. And the problem, look at Drum, he's actually moving one way and another, not doing storm drops, not trying to get to, for example, Reavers. So I actually am afraid for him, because he has the game in the back, he had it for quite some time, but he hasn't been able to close it down.
Yep, and now it's going to be really difficult to break these Lurker Swarm defenses of the Zerg. Meanwhile, the Zaraki, I think, really needs to build this hatchery at the 6 o'clock and defend it. The army is sort of walking around. That's actually another problem with Drum's play, is he's not actually properly scouting these extra bases. He's just kind of lucky that Zaraki's not taking them yet. Whoa, big storm on his own units there. That was not the best storm. And there's a swarm.
Again, this trade is, again, very efficient for Zaraki. Even though this is not actually, like, killing the Protoss army, it is buying time for Zaraki.
Yep, and as you said, all he needs is time to really get those late game hive units going. Looks like the hatchery at the 6 o'clock is now morphing. He's got a couple of lurkers there. If he just sends a Defiler over there, that'll be very difficult for Protoss to break without Reavers, basically. And looks like the Zerg now going for a counterattack at the natural. Going to get slightly intercepted on the tail end. This could be a bit awkward, actually. Now the Zerg army is cut off. Both armies kind of switch positions here. If you look at the mini-map, the Zerg actually going for the natural. Oh my god.
See it. Look at Drum. He's still staying with his army. He's not moving forward. So Drum didn't realize this, or maybe he was confident that he can actually defend it.
Oh man, looks like there were a lot of High Templar here, all blowing their storms, so they do kill a few of the units, and now the main army is coming back, and this is the thing, Zaraki sacrificed basically just one control group of units, not that expensive of an investment to pull the entire army back when it was basically about to attack his own 3rd base. So, you know, as you're saying, just more tactics to stall, to buy time to get to that super late game. But the problem, again, now the problem for him, though, is that the Protoss has so many bases. Look at this, Protoss getting his 6th base.
I don't know if Zaraki is going to be able to actually break this situation, because I think the problem for him is that he's actually sending right now a pretty big force to try to deal with one of the bases. But if you look at that, he's sending a little bit too much. And the problem with this is you don't want to send the lurkers. You want to save the lurkers for your own defense. And you want to send the Zerglings to kind of start killing things, because they're a lot more efficient. By sending also the lurkers, when the inevitable counterattack comes from Drum, Zaraki is not going to have anything to defend.
Yeah, that's true, but look at this. We have another attack going towards the natural. He's not giving up. He's just going to keep attacking until something happens. I'm not sure what. You know, just like I mentioned before how Drum wasn't scouting expansions, Zaraki is making the same mistake and not checking the 3 o'clock. There should have been a unit there, at least a Zergling, to tell him what was going on. I mean, he's got like 2 skirts just below that, but he really needs a unit there to let him know that's up and to kill it.
Okay, but as long as there are no probes there, that actually is even worse for Drum, because he spent all that money and he's not getting anything out of it. So, in a way, it's actually backfiring on Drum a little bit more than it is going wrong for Zaraki. And the thing is, once you get to 3-3 Zerglings, if you keep sending waves to one base and another, it is very easy for the Protoss to make a mistake and start bleeding units.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's the army that is extremely expensive for the Protoss. It is not the bases. You can rebuild the base pretty easily, but if you lose the entire army or you bleed half of it, suddenly you spend like 3,000 bank.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and he does have a very expensive army, and it looks like Zaraki's just sending, again, a mostly Zergling force here up to the top right. Probably not going to get too much done here thanks to the Psy Storm, but just buying some more time.
But very good defense. I think at this point it's actually not starting. It's kind of not going too well for Zaraki. He's bleeding a lot of units. He's not killing any bases. I don't think it's working too well because Zaraki is also going dry on his own bases, so he has to remember that as well.
Yeah, and just in general also, you know, once it gets to super late PvZ on a split map situation like this, I feel like it's really difficult for Zerg to actually do anything. I know I've said this a lot in the past, but you know, Zaraki, the Zerg, I think, is the one that has to take the initiative and make a play and make something happen. Drum will be quite content to just sit on his 6 bases and keep trading down units. Even if Zaraki tries to be efficient with Zerglings, eventually he is going to run out of money.
That's true, but the middle is always kind of something that is difficult to make sure who's gonna take it. If the Protoss takes the middle, then yeah, definitely. If the Zerg takes the middle, though, I have seen a lot of games, you know, between Zergs and Protoss where it gets to like 2 hours, and usually the one that loses most of his economy is actually the Protoss, and they go for this Dark Archon style of mind control and things like these because they know that they are not going to be that efficient, so they need the high-tech units. Now, without any reavers, if you look at Drum, he's still doing this kind of pretty standard style of PvZ, so if it doesn't work once, just once for him, he's pretty much in a lot of trouble.
And it looks like he was going to make a move here on the 9 o'clock base, but Zaraki pulls some units back in time. And yeah, as you say, no transition to the super late game tech. And these plagues are also going to be really bad for him if he's got so many Zealots and Dragoons. Definitely, as you say, need some Reavers, maybe just some more Archons even. Could even be super fancy and pull off an Arbiter if he wants to be, you know, one of the cool kids. But you know, we'll see.
That being said, at the natural there are another 4 Archons being made, so I think Drum is starting to realize that what the state of the game is.
He's got the support big Owen as well in the main. Just found that.
Oh yeah, so okay, so I think that he does know exactly what this game is going to be like.
Yep, indeed. And I'm not seeing any additional hive tech though from Zaraki. No Ultra Cavern, no Guardians if he was thinking about that. So this is actually going to be tricky now. That's a lot of Archons.
I mean, Zaraki can't afford it right now.
And I mean, the upgrades as well. 3-2-2 on the Protoss, even against, you know, 3-2 on the Zerg. These Archons, man, are going to be so beastly if he doesn't have any Ultras.
Yeah, I mean, without any good swarms or even, I don't know, ensnares. I mean, that army from the Protoss, oh, there it goes. The center is being taken by Drum. So that pretty much seals the deal, unless Zaraki can break it. And with the army composition that he has, I don't think he can.
Man, I actually like how Drum's playing, because this is almost exactly how I play PvZ. It's like, I don't need to attack you, I don't need to kill your bases, I'm just going to take more bases than you, and eventually you're just going to bleed out and starve. It's like the most frustrating thing for the Zerg, because it's like, basically the Protoss is winning without doing a single thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know exactly what you're saying because I've tried that a lot and it didn't work for me. So.
Yeah, I mean that's actually it's interesting that you bring that up because I think good Zerg, like I'm not saying Zaraki's bad, but Zergs in these situations I think need to try something besides just like spamming units on the ground, like drops in the back, because you see this big army is really far forward in the middle of the map to defend the new expansion. You drop 3 overlords worth of cracklings in his base, you can kill all his gateways and really mess up his infrastructure and production. Of course, there's like almost 6k banked, but.
I know what you're saying, but there's one interesting thing that most people don't realize in this situation. I think Drum might be making that mistake right now, which is if you do give the Zerg enough time to get to 200, and they prepare a perfect flank, suddenly you burn through your bank in about like 3 to 4 seconds.
True.
So if you're not aggressive, and you're not like, usually what the Protoss should be doing right now is storm dropping. That's what he should be doing right now. He's not doing anything on the map. He's just moving from one side to another. So you storm drop at this time, and you keep the Zerg rebuilding. Keep the Zerg rebuilding until he cannot anymore. But this style?
Well, I mean, this is clearly the Manly style because he built 4 robos in the middle of the map, so I don't think we can question him anymore.
I mean, okay, I mean, if you build 4 robos in the middle, the problem is, look at that, he has 4 robos, and he can't build anything from them because he's maxed.
It's okay, man, it just looks cool.
Yeah, it does. Look at that, oh, your robos, if they died right now,
no.
Oh.
No, Robos! Save the Robos! Save the Nexus!
Okay, the Nexus is gonna die, probably.
Yeah, I think so. Wow, look at those cracklings take it down. Just right-click and go.
Yeah, that's the pain that every Protoss has felt. Like, there's like 8 Zerglings. 8! And you have like 4 cannons. You're apsh. Easy. And you lose your Nexus. Feels weird. Feels weird.
Dude, the Zerglings basically, they hit like 10 times in between cannon shots because the cannon just shoots so slowly. It's like, oh my god.
Oh. Okay, anyway, looking at this, I still think that the problems are Zaraki is actually maxing out. The thing is, what is Zaraki's plan, right?
Well, he made Mutalisks. Does he have a Great Aspire? Whoa! Hello, Storm. Oh, I'm gonna check. No, he doesn't.
Aspire.
Weird. Why would he make Mutas?
I don't know.
Did he just like forget that he doesn't have a Great Aspire? Is he just gonna try and pick off High Templar? I mean, it's possible.
With this amount of Archons, it's even, especially at this point, High Templars aren't really a problem because you can mine gas infinitely, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. It would be possible if you were Jaedong. Yeah,
okay. Look at this the other way around. If Zaraki does manage to do something like that, everybody's gonna freak out.
Yeah.
So, I definitely see that he's trying to be cheeky, but I fear for him. I think it's gonna be difficult for him.
I mean, how can you break the 4 robo defense, man? It's not even possible, you know?
Well, you hit where the units are not, so you basically go like for the, I don't know, because there's a lot of High Templars everywhere, so.
Yeah, well, I think the only base Protoss has that can even be attacked is the top right main, and you obviously have to drop that. But hold that thought, big attack going in here. A lot of the Zerg units die before the swarms go down, rather, and then they just get stormed underneath it. A lot of splash damage coming out, but a lot of the Protoss army is dying too. A surprising number of the Protoss units have fallen.
Way too much.
What?
Those lurkers, they are doing a lot of damage.
Oh my god, he can't kill these. He needs to run away. He can't kill this one. He's not doing any damage. You're not doing any damage, bro!
Oh, man. And that's... Okay, so Drum right now is actually lower in supply, but this attacking this location where there's just pure Reavers is probably not the smartest idea from Zaraki.
Yeah, but Zaraki does get 2 more of the Archons. He might even get this last one. Oh my god, he gets all of the Archons. That was like 7 Archons. That was huge. But it was all part of the plan, because now we can make Reavers from 4 Robos.
Although that being said, look at the banks. Okay, so there's a lot of bank for Drum, but there's still bank for Zaraki. So Zaraki can max out a lot sooner if he plays this correctly.
Man, this is a lot of money for both players, but like almost 9,000 minerals here for the Protoss player. But we have Zaraki though. Zaraki smells blood. He's going for it, but look at the Reavers.
No, that's not gonna work. But look at the natural, just pure High Templar. Where are all the units from Drum? There's just Reavers?
Oh my god, there's Corsairs! Look at the Corsairs! He remade Corsairs!
That's why. Because I couldn't find the army from Drum.
Oh my god.
Like,
Dude, he's got, look at his main. He's got 4 Stargates, 2 cores, and a fleet beacon.
That's good, but you know, it's high tech already. You get plagued once, and that's it.
Dude, this guy Drum, he knows how to play PvZ. Let me tell you.
Okay, I agree with you. This is mid style. Okay, like what do you do when the Zerg has too many things and you can't stop him? Well, just make 4 Stargates.
Like, did somebody say Sarah Reaver? I'll show you Sarah Reaver.
Yeah,
I mean,
at the 31-minute mark.
If you think about it, right, it's not called Sarah Shuttle Reaver, it's just called Sarah Reaver. So if you want to do it properly, you're not actually supposed to make shuttles, right? Like, nobody calls it Sarah Shuttle Reaver, so why does everybody make shuttles? It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Plague! And Storms and Reavers.
Yeah. Ooh. Again, look again. Too many Reavers are falling. I mean, I get it. It's still not the worst thing because you have the middle base, but that's not efficient. And if it keeps going on this way,
it's hilarious though. Zaraki's just killing everything with like 4 Hydras.
look at the natural of Zaraki. Look at the natural.
Oh man, wait, where's the natural at? Oh, here we go. Whoa, hello.
Zaraki is planning ahead, although in 32 minutes, so...
Oh, we got Guardians, boys. We got Guardians. The air units aren't upgraded though. There's no attack upgrade or anything, and he's not getting one. I think he should at least invest in +1 air weapons. But here we go. We've gone full circle.
Corsairs. Look at the Corsairs coming up, but they don't know there are Devours there.
Well,
Oh, but the storms, yeah. The storms.
well, the Devourers aren't getting stormed yet. He should have a few mutas with the Devourers though. The Devourers actually don't have that much DPS. It's really the effect, the acid spores that they put on, that make the mutas do like 1,000,000 times more damage.
Although unfortunately Zaraki does have very low armor upgrades for his air units, so...
True, yeah. He doesn't have any upgrades on them. He just basically did a random late game switch. I don't think this is a good idea. He's got way too many... Well, I don't know actually, because there's no storms anymore. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Where are the High Templar? There's no more High Templar here.
At the middle.
Oh, okay, here we go. Okay. High Templar, storming them down. Corsairs in the back, Hydra's coming in the back. A lot of the Guardians have fallen, but he's still got a good number, and he's spreading them out nicely. Reavers don't do anything here. Oh my god. Is Zaraki gonna pull this back?
Ooh, it's gonna be... I mean, it's gonna be really hard. Even at this position, I still think it's very difficult. But he is doing the right moves, at least.
He is indeed. He's baited out a lot of storms here, but it's not enough.
From the bottom, after the initial storms were burned, he goes because the Reavers actually take a lot of cooldown between shots.
Oh my god. The 4 Reaver defense! Will it be broken? The 4 Robo defense. They're all unpowered. The Robos are unpowered. Oh my god. Hey. Oh, now we have the chat. Now we have the chat coming on. Oh, I guess there's some lag or something.
Yeah, I thought for a second the drum is gonna be like, hey, that's not possible.
Just gonna complain about how Zerg is OP. Oh my god, he's down to 150 supply now. And the supplies are even! The supplies are even!
Exactly, I mean, the bank is not dry from drum, but it's gonna take a lot of time for him to rebuild everything.
Yep. And, I mean, he's down to just 2 mining bases, because he mined out everything else. But actually, Zaraki's basically down to 2 mining bases as well.
Yeah, Zaraki definitely needs to take the middle right now.
Holy.
Wait, he's sending a lot of drones from his third? And I don't know if he's gonna send them to the middle to long distance mine because... Yeah, I think so.
Is he? Oh my god, he is.
It's mine. I mean, that's the first thing I thought about. It's like, why bother building a base? Just start mining.
Oh my god. He is. You're absolutely right. He's going to build a hatchery, but he is going to start by long distance mining. It looks like, though, he's lost control a little bit. He did a big attack, lost a lot of units in storms, but the Protoss army is still quite small. He's gone back to Dragoon High Templar here. And
are gonna do a lot of good at this point because the storms, they can't connect very well with Zerglings if you have Dragoons.
Yep.
You're usually gonna hit yourself as well, so...
That's absolutely true, but looks like Zaraki is suiciding some Guardians, was not paying attention there. I don't know if he'll be able to hold on to this middle hatchery. His own army is kind of in shambles as well. 149 supply to 192. The Protoss already remaxed. Zaraki at still about 150 supply. This is really, really close.
I think that's enough for the Zerg, though. I think it's actually enough. Because the quality of Drum's army has dropped significantly from the Reaver, Corsair, High Templar style.
That is very true.
If Zaraki was able to actually break that position, even with cannons... Whew. Oh no, okay, Corsairs are back.
They are indeed. And here we go. Is he going to be able to break this base? This base, actually, I think will determine the winner of this game. Who actually holds on to this base.
I think so too.
Oh god. Although the Protoss does have so much money in the bank, though. That is an insane amount of money. I think he's got more money banked than you can actually mine from this base. Oh, actually, no, maybe not. No, actually,
close.
you can get...
Close to it. Very close, definitely. Yeah. It's about efficiency. Whoever's going to be more efficient is going to win this. Oh. Okay. Okay. That's not going good for Zaraki, definitely.
There's the D-Webs, boys! We have D-Webs on the field!
I was thinking about that. If you make so many Corsairs, where is the D-Web? And
oh man,
there it is.
Zaraki not getting the best position. He's running into a choke point here against the Psystorm. He's got a few Hydras flanking. It looks like the hatchery has fallen, but so have all the supporting Zealots. But it looks like all the Zerg army is dead now, and there are still a lot of Dragoons left. 162 supply against 130. Actually, Zaraki not as far behind as I thought, and the Templars are now out of energy. Not quite,
yeah,
almost.
As long as you keep producing like cheap units from the Zerg and you keep trading against these Dragoons, you can actually still take that base.
Oh my god, he's pushing the Protoss back.
It's gonna be really hard anyway, like... It's still gonna be really hard. I would just make pure Zerglings at this point, I think. Although, oh, you gotta defend the Corsairs. Sorry, the Guardians.
Yeah. Uh-oh, too late for that though. Nice Plague, but that's a lot of dead Guardians.
Yeah.
Wow. That was expensive. And he just dropped to 100 supply from that.
Okay, at this point I think it's about pretty much finished. I don't see how Zaraki can muster up an army from this point because he just has one base mining.
Yep. And basically no bank. He's down to 100 minerals only. So it looks like Zaraki, despite almost making the epic comeback, well, okay, wait, hold on. The Protoss is actually not really mining. He's mined at the 3 o'clock as well.
What a plague in the middle.
Oh my god.
It got everything. Like 2 Dragons, I think, not plagued. Oh.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, Zaraki definitely has a very high mountain to climb. But with those plagues, with good swarms, it is doable, it's just extremely difficult. Okay, there we go.
I don't like this angle of attack. He's gonna get stormed into oblivion. Or not. Hey, storm number 1. Nice plate on the back Dragoons. Lurkers doing a good amount of damage. He's going to be do or die here. That was not the best storm. And he's actually attacking the Corsairs for some reason, now running away. And Zaraki on the retreat is going to try and be efficient, but there's a Dark Templar there. He's going to grab the Archon, but the DT just going to walk around. There's no Overlord here. Another DT helping out in the main army.
They are the Zerglings. They are the Zerglings. That's what I'm talking about. You see Dragoons, you make Zerglings.
Very true. A nice storm there on the approaching Zerglings, but looks like he's pushing the Protoss back yet again, and the Protoss bank is falling down to sub 5,000, but it's still really difficult for Zaraki. He needs another base.
You know, when you say sub 5,000, oh, okay. It's gonna make me laugh.
GG!
GG!
Sorry to cut you off there, but looks like Zaraki realizes he has no chance. And peace is out of the game.
I mean, when you were saying that, you know, Drum is under 5,000 bank, I was thinking, well, that will be pretty good to have in any day of the week, right?
Indeed it will. Oh my god, let me just show you guys the score screen quickly. Almost 1,000 units killed here. It's pretty badass. Nice.
Okay.
Alright, so